So this is Charlotte Anthony. Would you like to talk a little bit about what you do?
One very important thing to me is getting things planted to take care of climate change. And what that means is when we have the microbes that are working in the soil sequesters an immense amount of carbon. It helps with the hydrological cycle so that the rain around the planet is taken care of. So for one, we do perennial gardens. We can take care of a lawn. We can put perennial things in lawns. But for people who want to grow food, and there's a really great reason to grow food at this time, and that is most of the food that's grown is not feeding our microbiome. And so that's the reason for the immense amount of chronic degenerative diseases that are taking over. And I believe I heard autism is going to be about 50% within a couple of years. And all of that's because our food doesn't have what it needs. So all we've got to do is grow food with our microbe partners, and it has what it needs. Unfortunately, our agricultural system has taken a turn and not been doing this. They thought their way of doing it was better, using plows and all that. So anyway, we're doing that here, and in this case, what we're doing is Judy has a passion for trees, and she loves to buy them. And so now we're trying to put 45 trees on a 5,000 square foot lot, including her fairly large house. I believe it's a 2,000 square foot house. So that's what we're doing, and the way that we're doing it is we're basically doing hedgerows of trees. So this place, it's pretty obvious. You can see the trees are planted maybe every 5 feet. We don't have that middle tree in there yet. And then on the north side, we have a whole bunch of trees. And then we're going to have a hedgerow of Nanking cherries right in front of that. And then down the middle, in what we call the alley, we will plant annuals. So that's you can see that all over this, but this is most obvious here because it hasn't got a lot of stuff already in. So baby beets are going in there.
Great.
And what we put down there was just some extra earth that we had from our various projects, and then a little bit of she had some stuff that she bought that these were tomatoes last year, and so there was some bought soil. When I did the Victory Gardens, we did about 500 gardens in straight clay. Somebody told her that clay wouldn't work. And it is true that if you don't use the microbes, if you don't inoculate with the microbes and get those microbes in there, getting the air to the soil, it's pretty hard to grow plants. So we do it with these microbes, and the plants are very happy.
Great.
There's a couple of other things we're using here, which we can see up here. So this is an old tree, and we're putting on, she's calling it a hugelkultur, but she trimmed down her eucalyptus tree and put, so in the root zone of the plant, which is out at the edges of the plant, we are building up, and you can see that here. So these are all, anytime a plant's having trouble, and this one's having trouble, that's what we do. We feed it some compost, we give it some extra microbes, and we cover its whole drip line with leaves and nice things.
And when you say that you sort of inoculate with microbes, how do you do this?
We actually, I've been buying them. There's 3 or 4 people in this town that make them. And you could probably get them very inexpensively from people that make them here.
Great.
I get them from EM, which is from a place called Teraganix, Teraganix, and from Paul Stamets, and it's called Fungi Perfecti.
And do you do like the regular suggested dosage, or
Probably
do you
nowhere
move
near
them?
that, but I do more like 10 sprays.
Okay.
So when I started doing it, which was maybe 15 years ago, I am doing what they were, what they said was recommended at that point. But now they're saying 10 times that much.
Wow.
And what I see is it does better to do it week by week. And part of the reason for the 10 times as much is the glyphosate, which is, what's it called, Roundup, that everybody's using, and it spreads by the rain.
Right.
So it's pretty detrimental to our microbiome, and it's pretty detrimental to the microbes. So that's why just getting some microbes on every 10 days works better than putting a whole lot on at once.
Great.
So we'll go see these annuals again. We saw this and bought it. It's, I don't think I can lift it. But she's just got all her starts in there.
Great.
So these will be ready to plant out in about a month. And she bought some starts here, and that's what's happening. These that are covered with straw are all potatoes. And
Are they different kinds of potatoes, or
no, it's all fingerling potatoes. And she
Okay.
thought she didn't have any potatoes, but in fact,
you've
she
been
didn't
digging
dig
them up?
Yeah. So she had a tremendous amount of potatoes.
Nice little surprise.
Huh?
It's a nice little surprise.
Yes. I told her probably $75 worth because they're fancy fingerling potatoes.
And what would you say the cost of something like that would be, the little seed start?
Well, I think she paid $20 for it at Bi-Mart, and
Okay.
it was a. I wouldn't do that. I would just get a couple pieces of rebar, and then put some plastic over it.
Okay.
So that would cost maybe $10. But this,
It looks pretty.
well, but it takes up a lot of light, so that's why
Oh,
I don't like them.
interesting. It's
Yeah.
pretty thick.
Yeah. And anyway, so even using plastic makes me unhappy.
Yes.
So I'll show you a place. I'll show you another exciting place. So these are all some blueberries and some blackberries, and we're probably going to put her chestnuts out at the very north side.
Oh, wow.
Because that's the only thing you can do with chestnuts, because they grow 50 feet tall.
Right. Yeah, they're tall.
So what
good
else? Let's go to the south side area,
Okay.
because she's got a very special place here. And she's actually growing one avocado tree. It made it through the winter. And she's got a couple banana trees. They're not planted yet. Beautiful. Good technique.
Oh, I didn't see this little area
So
over
this
here.
is a pomegranate, and it's too cold for this zone. I think this pomegranate would be happy here without any plastic. But what we're talking about doing is rigging up some plastic that comes down, and so this will be an amazing growing area. She can put a lemon and what else does she have? A couple of other trees like that she wants to grow. She is going to take out this, I'm not thinking of what it is, and she's going to take out this rhodie. Because if she leaves this rhodie, you can see it's shading this.
Right. Yes.
So she can't. Oh yeah, so I need this plum out of here. Anyway, so And of course these windows then, that's a bathroom window, so it probably won't ever be open, but this will be right into the greenhouse where there's a lot of fancy houses.
You could do some passive solar
Yeah,
perhaps with that.
exactly.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So, all right. So there's some more over here. And again, here's another eucalyptus. She loves eucalyptus oil. So we could put anything high on this north side. And this is a mimosa tree. And it's a great nitrogen fixing tree and a beautiful tree. She loves flowers. But we will probably take this butterfly tree out here. Of course, anybody that's ever tried to take a butterfly tree out, it never comes out. It keeps on coming back. But we don't want anything, because we'll do the same thing. On this open space here, we'll plant annuals. So, and we'll probably, this wonderful tree, take it back a little so that it's not going to be where our annuals are. So does that make any sense?
It does. And so these will these stay or?
Yes, these are a lot of beautiful plants. She wants to have beautiful plants in her front yard, but we might add some bushes in here. So in this kind of climate, we don't really want everything growing under other things. So right here, where this tree is in front of this bush, well, it's not too terrible because it'll get east sun and west sun, and this currant doesn't require huge amounts of light. But that's what we think of when we're planting. So everything that gets south-facing sun is happy, and if it only gets east and west, then it has to be happy with a little less light.
Right.
But there's a whole lot of plants which you can look up which are happy with less light.
Right, like I've heard pawpaws or.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Great.
Okay.
Any finishing thoughts? Closing
No.
words? Okay.
Okay.